Hi and welcome to True Crime. In today's video, we're going to talk about the shocking story of a Mexican cop who was on the payroll of a dangerous drug cartel. This cop, whose duty was supposed to protect and serve the people of his city, ended up becoming a pawn of the criminal underworld, leading to disastrous consequences for both him and the community he was supposed to serve. So, what happened to this cop? How did he end up on the cartel's payroll? And what ultimately became of him? Let's get started. Early life and career. Carlos Landon Martinez, known as El Puma Uno in the Tamaulipas State Police, was a man of many faces. Born in Reynosa, Mexico, Landon Martinez started as a commander of the Homicide Investigatory Task Force, where he earned the respect of his peers. But his reputation was not what it seemed. He was a double agent, using his position in the police to disguise his true allegiances to the Gulf Cartel, a criminal organization based in Tamaulipas. Landon Martinez's life took a dramatic turn when he was permanently released from the Tamaulipas State Police by Governor Tomas Yarrington in May 1999. He was suspected by the PGR of being involved in drug trafficking during the administration of his predecessor, Manuel Cavazos Lerma. Authorities discovered that Landon Martinez had been living a double life to avoid detection, posing as a retiree while being involved in organized crime. He ran a criminal organization responsible for international drug trafficking in Mexico while spending time with his family in the U.S., including his 3 children and 4 grandchildren. U.S. authorities tracked Landon Martinez's drug trafficking activities back to 1998 when his criminal cells in Grangino and Penitas, Texas, worked with a family-led smuggling ring headed by a former McAllen police officer. For nearly a decade, Landon Martinez's drug trafficking cells were responsible for moving narcotics from Mexico into the U.S., with the Gulf Cartel's drugs being cultivated in Michoacan, smuggled through Tamaulipas, and then redistributed in South Texas and throughout the rest of the U.S. The drugs were smuggled via the Rio Grande River and dropped off in designated spots for arranged middlemen to pick up before being stored in stash houses across the city. Landon Martinez's criminal network was vast, and he had connections in cities like Dallas, Houston, Chicago, Tampa, Nashville, Atlanta, Greensboro, and New York City. Couriers would bring the money back to Mexico from all over the U.S. through the Reynosa border crossing, where it reached Landon Martinez's network. Carlos Landon Martinez's life was a maze of secrecy, danger, and betrayal. He lived on the edge of the law, a man on a mission, running a criminal organization with the help of his family and connections in Mexico and the United States. It was a hot and humid August day in 2005 when U.S. authorities stumbled upon something truly shocking. A secret tunnel was discovered, used by the notorious associates of Landon Martinez to smuggle drugs from Mexico into downtown Hidalgo, Texas. This discovery was just the tip of the iceberg, as they soon learned that Landon Martinez was the second in command of the Gulf Cartel in Reynosa from 2005 to 2007. His duties included collecting taxes from independent drug traffickers who wanted to smuggle drugs through his corridor, a lucrative business that extended between the Tamaulipas municipalities of Gustavo Diaz Ordaz and Rio Bravo. Landon Martinez was no ordinary criminal. He was ruthless, and those who dared to cross him paid the price. Kidnappings, torture, and even murder were commonplace under his orders. But as the infighting within the Gulf Cartel intensified, Landon Martinez began to assert his dominance, generating more influence and money than ever before. However, this did not go unnoticed by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, which launched Operation Puma, a massive multi-agency investigation aimed at bringing down Landon Martinez and his cartel. The DIA's investigation involved unprecedented cooperation between law enforcement agencies in Mexico and the U.S., resulting in over 30 arrests and the indictment of Landon Martinez and 13 others for drug trafficking, conspiracy, and money laundering. The investigation also focused on arresting 10 high-ranking members of the Gulf Cartel and Los Zetas, who were placed on a most wanted list with bounties. Operation Puma was a resounding success, dealing a massive blow to the Gulf Cartel and their criminal operations. His arrest. On a hot summer day in McAllen, Texas, Landon Martinez, a man with a notorious reputation, strolled into an H-E-B supermarket. Little did he know that his luck was about to run out. Off-duty DIA agent Leonardo Silva, who was at the store to grab some corn for his family barbecue, noticed Landon Martinez and recognized his face from the DIA case he had been working on for 2 years. At that moment, Silva knew he had to act fast. He followed Landon Martinez and his two bodyguards out of the store and called the McAllen Police Department for backup. Landon Martinez was caught red-handed, buying watermelons without resistance. He was a man on the run, a wanted criminal in both the United States and Mexico. At his initial hearing, Landon Martinez's attorney painted him as a good man, a former police officer who had been targeted by the drug traffickers he had worked so hard to put away. But the prosecution had a different story. They presented evidence linking Landon Martinez to 2 cocaine seizures and 4 informants who claimed that Landon Martinez had taken bribes to allow the free flow of drugs through the Reynosa corridor. The judge denied Landon Martinez's bond, and he was ordered to be held without bail and under federal custody. The questionable nature of his entry into the United States also made him vulnerable to immigration charges. He was a swift and decisive victory for law enforcement and a lesson to anyone who thought they could evade the law. Landon Martinez may have thought he was safe, but he was wrong. The long arm of the law had caught up with him, and justice had been served. The trial. The courthouse was buzzing with activity on that fateful day of 14th January 2008 as Landon Martinez was brought in under tight security. The air was thick with tension and fear, palpable enough to make even the bravest of hearts skip a beat. The police had cordoned off parking lots close to the courthouse, and over 30 of Landon Martinez's family members were screened before being allowed to attend the proceedings. The SWAT team of the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office was on standby, ready for any eventuality. Landon Martinez was to be held in the McAllen Police Department's facilities for the duration of the trial, under the watchful eye of the United States Marshals Service. The stakes were high as Landon Martinez faced 10 counts of drug trafficking, conspiracy, and money laundering from activities between 2005 and 2007. The jury panel consisted of 3 men and 9 women, all of whom were keenly aware of the gravity of the situation. The prosecution accused Landon Martinez of collecting taxes from traffickers on his turf, while the defense argued that the evidence relied on hearsay from gangsters and smugglers seeking a reduced sentence. The stage was set for a gripping legal battle as both sides presented their arguments with conviction and passion. The following day, witness Francisco Camacho Barajas took to the stand and dropped a bombshell. He claimed that Landon Martinez was involved in the notorious Gulf Cartel in Reynosa while still working for the Tamaulipas State Police. Camacho, a smuggler for the Gulf Cartel, was facing a 10-year conviction for his drug charges and had worked for 2 people who reported to Landon Martinez. The witness testimony painted a damning picture of Landon Martinez's alleged involvement in drug trafficking, and he declared that it was Carlos Landon, El Puma, who was the boss. Landon Martinez's defense tried to discredit Camacho, citing his drug abuse and lack of first-hand knowledge, but the damage had been done. The jury was left to ponder over the validity of the witness claims. As the trial progressed, more shocking revelations came to light. Another drug smuggler, Jose Montserrat Narvaez, testified that he received drug shipments from Landon Martinez's network across the Rio Grande River. Narvaez also revealed his relationship with Landon Martinez and even described a special chair he had for him. The prosecution produced multiple bags filled with cocaine, each valued between $12,000 to $15,000 as evidence against Landon Martinez and his co-defendants. The courtroom was abuzz with tension as the jury listened intently to the recordings of intercepted phone calls played by the prosecution's witness. Landon Martinez and Robaldo were both present, their fates hanging in the balance as the recordings revealed mentions of aliases of Gulf Cartel members, drug and money operations, and fears of being caught by wiretapping authorities. Landon Martinez's name was rarely mentioned, but witnesses testified that they worked under him, collecting fees from drug and human traffickers who wanted to operate on his turf. One witness even claimed that the Gulf Cartel received support from the Mexican police to conduct their operations. As the trial progressed, more witnesses took the stand, each one providing a glimpse into the brutal and dangerous world of drug trafficking. They spoke of kidnappings, torture, and executions ordered by Landon Martinez himself. The atmosphere in the courtroom was thick with tension as the witnesses told their harrowing stories. Yet Landon Martinez's attorney remained steadfast, questioning the witnesses' claims and attempting to poke holes in their testimonies. Despite the defense's efforts, the evidence against Landon Martinez and Robaldo continued to mount. Arturo Alonso Sequeira, a drug smuggler from North Carolina who had worked for the Gulf Cartel under Landon Martinez's supervision, testified that he had witnessed firsthand the brutality of the cartel leader. Sequeira told the jury that Landon Martinez had ordered the torture and execution of a man who refused to cooperate with the cartel. He also revealed that he had been forced to work for the Gulf Cartel under threat of violence against himself and his family. As the trial drew to a close, the jury was left to weigh the evidence and decide the fate of the accused. The stakes were high, with the possibility of long prison sentences hanging over both Landon Martinez and Robaldo. The courtroom was hushed as the verdict was read, and when the judge declared them guilty, there was a collective gasp. The trial may have been over, but the impact of their crimes would be felt for years to come. Conviction. The trial of Landon Martinez, a member of the Gulf Cartel, was intense and emotional. The jury reviewed hours of wiretapped conversations between Landon Martinez's smugglers in the Rio Grande Valley, drug seizure samples, and other exhibits presented by the prosecution. Witnesses described the Gulf Cartel as a complex organization where low-level members were not allowed to participate in the group's core operations, thus reducing the liability of the cartel leaders and their direct involvement in drug trafficking. Landon Martinez's defense accused the government of using stories from jailbirds as part of their evidence against their client. On January 22, 2008, after nearly 8.5 hours of deliberations that spanned over 2 days, Landon Martinez was found guilty of all charges. His attorney expressed disbelief in the prosecution's evidence, but the verdict was delivered, and Landon Martinez was sentenced to life imprisonment for being accountable for the possession with intent to distribute 150 kilograms of cocaine, and for his leadership role in the Gulf Cartel. Thank you for watching another amazing video from our true crime team. Like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned to our next real-life true crime video.